Hello and welcome to another Talking Points, and today's episode is going to be looking at the different kinds of gamer. And yeah, the different kinds of gamer might seem a little bit weird of a topic title, but back when games really first started, there wasn't any kind of gamer. And then, I'm trying to think, I want to say just before the Wii, maybe it was just after the Wii came out, that suddenly people started to discuss the types of gamer, and primarily it was casual and hardcore. And casual and hardcore gaming is something that has actually completely changed over time, but at the time it meant anyone who was a casual is someone who didn't really play games or didn't really play particularly difficult games. I think it quickly morphed into, but a hardcore gamer was someone who played all the time and played hard games, and they were like live, breathing, and eating, sleeping games. At least I believe that was essentially what it was. It's kind of differentiated as things have gone on, and thankfully, for the most part, a casual gamer and a hardcore gamer tend not to really exist anymore. Like, casual does, but it tends to be a different vibe. And I can't actually honestly think of the last time anyone said that they were a hardcore gamer and meant it, or any way at all other than ironic. But all of that long-winded explanation out the way to say that I'm actually going to be touching on actual different kinds of gamer. And there truly are so many different reasons for people to game, and because of that, it means there's so many different types of gamer available, because for some reason, people seem to think that there was this binary of casual and hardcore, when actually, there's the gamer who only plays competitive games. And maybe they don't like to team up with anyone else, maybe they're literally a lone wolf online, playing as a competitive game and trying to be the best that they can be. And now granted, there are some people who would call that a sweat or anything like that, but I'm not trying to say anything derogatory here. I'm just literally wanting to discuss a few different, I guess, archetypes of gaming these days. I'm definitely not going to touch on everything, but there are people who will only play competitive games. They'll be into anything as long as it's got an online competitive mode and it's got ranked and they can show how much better they are at the game than other people. You will have people playing that kind of game. There's then the complete antithesis of that. People who only play... Oh, well, I'm trying to think what the antithesis would be, because it's either only playing cooperatively or only playing solo offline games. On a technicality, it could be both, but I'll stick with only playing cooperative games. And co-op gaming is something that a lot of people really enjoy because you like playing games, you like playing games with a friend, you like solving puzzles with a friend, you like fighting enemies with a friend. There's loads of different reasons to like co-op gaming, and there's, well, not millions these days. Co-op is definitely something that tends to be dying, but there's still some genuinely fantastic games coming out with co-op. The likes of Hazelight Studios making Split Fiction, which is absolutely magnificent and was in my top 10 last year. There's a bunch of like local co-op games that you can still have available to you, but on top of playing co-op, as I've already said, another antithesis of people playing competitive online would be people playing offline games. And you can play offline solo games, incredibly large drawn stories of open world and like tons of magnificent plot lines and cutscenes and everything like that. So you can have the traditional solo only gamer. And I understand this video is definitely a weird one, and you may be even wondering why the hell I'm making it. To be honest, there's times when I wonder that myself, but it's mainly just because at this moment in time on this channel I am trying to come up with different ways to help people get into games, and honestly just being able to label yourself can sometimes help with that, and also set your expectations for what you actually want. And the reason I bring this up is because people get put in these little like boxes of gaming, like social norms and everything of different, of the whole casual versus hardcore. It can actually be a barrier of entry to people getting into gaming. So this video was essentially to kind of not so much raise awareness or poke fun or anything, but simply say just because there's people who do that doesn't mean you have to be one of them. So if you only want to play online competitive games, you can do. If you only want to play offline, you can do. If you only want to play arcadey games like this, where the whole point is you've got a very simple mechanism going around and you're trying to get the highest score. If you want to only play horror games, if you want to only play puzzle games, because that's another kind of gamer, thinking about it. Cozy games. There's an entire genre of gaming called cozy gaming, and Animal Crossing's in it, Bookhopia's in it. I'm actually going to bring up Fantasy Life, because I kind of never got around to bringing that up when I did a cozy game video. But even things like Kirby, to be honest, I feel kind of fits a cozy vibe, because it's a more chill, and this is, again, when casual comes into things, a more chill, casual experience that's not really high stakes, not really hard difficulty or anything, just something you can sit back and enjoy and vibe to. And there are people out there who will only play cozy games, who will only play things that they never have to stress about. And all of that is perfectly valid. You'll then get, and this is actually another kind of casual gamer, to be honest, and this might actually piss some people off, because the people who tend to actually hate being called a casual gamer are the people who play these sorts of games. But one of the most casual forms of gaming are the people who only play one action shooty game and one sports game, and that's pretty much it. Like, they will buy an Xbox for Madden and Call of Duty, and that's all they'll play. Every single year, they'll buy the new Madden, they'll buy the new Call of Duty. I honestly can't think of a more casual drop-in, drop-out gaming experience than that. You're playing an online competitive thing with Call of Duty, I understand that, and Madden is also competitive as well, but it's just like such a tiny little niche when you consider all of the things that gaming has, the millions of different genres and franchises and everything to get into, and you only play two franchises, Call of Duty and Madden, or FIFA and Call of Duty, or like any combination of that. Hell, it might even be just Fortnite these days. Fortnite, Apex, things like that. Any of the like free games. That is definitely a form of casual gaming, and all of that is valid. All of that is fine. You play what you want. You enjoy what you want. This is how you spend your time. This is how you spend your money. If you buy a console and only plan to buy 2 games a year, then that's fine. You don't need to constantly be buying things. But then there are the type of gamers, and I'm definitely of this vein. I know fine well I am. I like the gaming zeitgeist. I like being part of modern day conversations. I like being up to date on everything. I watch Kinda Funny every day, which is a news games cast. I watch every single major event. So from the Game Awards, which is basically a Game Award ceremony, as you'd expect, but also a giant walking commercial. Technically, it's a bunch of commercials, but they do Summer Games Fest, they do Gamescom, they do PAX. There are so many different gaming events throughout the year. You'll get the Mix, you'll get Dames of Gaming, you'll get showcases highlighting minorities in games, you'll get showcases highlighting women in games. There's events happening all the time, and they're like an hour to 2 hour long, sometimes up to 4 hours long, where you just get trailer after trailer after trailer, and I get absolutely hooked on it, and I truly do. I just sit and I watch every last one of them. The last Summer Games Fest, I watched like 17 and a half hours worth of trailers. I marked down so many things that I knew I wanted to buy, that I was going to actually play, and some that I knew I'd never play. But I like being among the conversation, essentially. It's my biggest hyperfixation is video games, so this is a choice that I made, that I wanted to keep up with the zeitgeist, and part of that also means that I am the kind of person who spends way too much money on games. It is my primary hobby. It's where all of my spare cash goes. I will try to always buy at least one big game, big studio game, and one big indie a month, if possible. Now, obviously, monetary reasons, sometimes that isn't possible, and also sometimes there just truly isn't something that comes out that month that interests me, but we'll have years like 2023, where it truly was a complete and utter smorgasbord of every single month, at least something was coming out, and I like buying the new thing, I like playing the new thing, I like talking about the new thing, and I like moving on to the next thing. And we'll go through the entire year cycle, people like me, so I'm going to essentially call them zeitgeist gamers, because, yeah, I surround myself with people like this, and it really is a case of, as soon as March comes, the big March game comes out, we all play that. We all play the thing that comes out, like the big indie, we all play the big thing in April, then May, then in June we get Summer Games Fest, and we all talk about the new commercials and all of the stuff that we're looking forward to. And yeah, it's a very expensive way to do gaming, but it is also still a very valid way to do gaming. But that's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of societal pressure. It's a lot of monetary pressure. At the end of the day, constantly keeping up with the new does come at a cost at the end of the day. There are times, I am a gigantic Resident Evil fan. It took me years to finally be able to catch up and play Resident Evil Village. And it's because by the time I finally played Resident Evil 7, because I'd started it but never finished it, I then was like years behind with Village. And because of the way that I play games with this whole zeitgeist mindset, I just couldn't ever find the time. And it means that this is where the pressure comes into it. Basically, I have a huge backlog. If gaming ever stopped tomorrow, if suddenly people were like, nope, that's it, we're done making games, I have more than enough to last me decades. I know fine well I do. Which I know is a problem, but at the same time, it's nice to have that little safety net. But the main reason it's a problem, because of the kind of gamer I am, the zeitgeist gamer of always keeping up to date with the new, it means that I only really get the tail end of December and the beginning end of January. I need to actually just put something on, by the way, because I'm kind of looking for something to play in the background, and it's putting me off. But I only really get the tail end of December and January to kind of play catch up. So let's say it's a year where, I mean, this kind of happened last year, actually, thinking about it. September was awful. It was brilliant, but it was awful. So many games came out in September. But let's say 3 or 4 huge games that I'm really interested in. By huge, I don't just mean huge popularity. I mean, they could take some significant time investment. 4 big-ass games come out in March. There's a JRPG, there's an action shooter, there's a strategy game, and there's a fighting game. Now, obviously, the chances of a fighting game lasting that many hours is slim, I understand, but seeing as I'm playing Smash Brothers, I thought I'd go for fighting. I know fine well, on top of monetary reasons why I shouldn't be buying 4 games, time reasons I shouldn't be buying 4 games. So it could be a simple case of, right, let's buy the JRPG and buy the fighter. That's giving me 2 different things to play. I'm constantly going to be going between high action and strategy, so like slower turn-based stuff. It gives me a nice range of different things to play, and it then means that those 2 other games are just going to sit on a wish list. So maybe I'll play them in April, except April comes around and suddenly April's got 3 games as well. And it's like, okay, so let's see if I can do 2 games in April. Then May comes around, then June comes around, and by the time I hit December, when I start to get this little bit of time where not many games are coming out, I then basically have like a 6-week window to go through everything that I'd missed that I actually wanted to play during the year, everything that I didn't get the chance to be a part of the zeitgeist of, which obviously no one can ever be part of everything, and we all have to make choices and sacrifices and everything. But there are a couple of times where I've definitely chose wrong. There's a couple of times when it turns out I've thought, you know what, this isn't going to be the sort of game that I really want to talk about, so I'll wait until the end of the year, and then in December I suddenly pick up the game, and it's like, oh, actually, this turns out to be the game I not just want to talk about, I need to talk about, and now no one's really talking about it. That kind of sucks. Now, obviously, that's to an extreme. You can usually find someone to talk about anything, and not everyone jumps on, and at the same time, a lot of people do what I do. Again, I surround myself with this kind of gamer, so sometimes it really is a case of, we'll sit there talking, oh my god, that is so a December game. It's just like, what do you mean it's a December game? It's coming out in February. Yeah, but have you seen what else is coming out in February? That's so a December game. So sometimes I still get the ability to talk about it in a zeitgeist way, which is kind of cool. But yeah, doing that kind of gaming definitely has some huge advantages, and if it's the sort of thing that you enjoy doing, you really will get a lot out of it, because it's nice to have this community, it's nice to be able to talk about it, but it also comes with a lot of disadvantages. So it's why I keep saying, it's however you want to play, essentially. There's loads of different ways and styles. You can look at getting every single new and trying to keep up with it and trying to talk to everyone. Or you can just get 2 games a year. Or you can just do a mishmash, like a combination of. And again, I'm not going to cover every single kind of gamer out there, but very similar to the zeitgeist gamer is not so much someone who cares about always getting into the new, but there's a good way to essentially plan your year around, well, I guess I'll call them the planner, essentially, because it's the kind of gamer who plans out their year, because you don't know everything that's going to come out at any one given time. There's always going to be surprises, there's always going to be secrets, there's always going to be shadow drops, but at the same time, we do tend to get a lot of things, a lot of advance notice for what's coming out and when's coming out. And sometimes developers will try to steer clear of other big games, especially if they're in a similar genre, but at the same time, you can sometimes get an annoyance where suddenly 2 games of the same franchise, well, not franchise, same genre come out. So you might get 2 huge JRPGs in the same month, or 2 huge racing games in the same month, or 2 huge sports games in the same month, or whatever, you know? And you can easily burn out on a genre. Unless it's the only genre you play, and again, there are probably some gamers out there who only play single genre, like, as I've mentioned, the cozy gamer, but even then, cozy games can come in different varieties, but you can legitimately be a gamer who only plays first-person shooters, or only plays racing games and that, and chances are, finding something new to play every single month, if you do only like one franchise, is probably going to be a little difficult. But if you can manage it, you need to kind of plan out what's coming out and when, because even in certain franchises, maybe with first-person shooters, you go from a Half-Life. Now, obviously, these are using established games. There isn't exactly a new Half-Life coming out all the time. I kind of fucking wish. But you go from a Half-Life, which is a big first-person shooter, gripping story game, to a boomer shooter, like a Forgive Me Father, which is kind of like a Doom clone, a boomer shooter, as I see it, to... I'm trying to think of other first-person shooters thinking about it, and there aren't actually that many different variations, but fuck it, let's say Skyrim, even though Skyrim's a action RPG that can take first-person advantage, you can still plan out your year by going through, well, what gameplay am I going to be looking at all of the time, because do I need a break from that? So yeah, the planner is definitely another type of gamer that you can be. Very easily, to be honest. I say easily as if, like, again, having money and time and everything, and there are still some things that you have to put time and effort into here, but you can go through and go, right, April this year, Pragmata's coming out. Pragmata, as far as I'm aware, is a third-person shooter action game. So let's say Pragmata comes out April, and I know fine well the new Diablo expansion's coming out this April. Those are 2 very, very different games. That is honestly how I'm planning to spend my April. There will probably be some smaller thing coming out, like an indie, but I plan to buy both of those games, well, even though one's a DLC expansion, but let's be real, it's like DLCs like that tend to be game length. So that's how I'll be spending it, because I'll be going from top-down, isometric, action RPG, dealing with loads of different counters and numbers and stats, to totally different gameplay that's got third-person vantage point and puzzles and shooting mechanics. I'm trying to think what big things have came out in March. Considering I'm literally in March, I should know this. I'm trying to think, though, was Procopia actually the start of March? I think Procopia was the start of March. So let's see. I knew I was going from Resident Evil, which I know I bring up a lot on the channel, but Resident Evil, third-person/first-person survival horror game. I knew I was moving into Procopia, which was a cozy game. I know I'm moving into a racing game is about to come out. I wanted to move into Crimson Desert, but then the controls of it were awful. But yeah, this is another way that, as much as I am a Zeitgeist gamer, and I like to always get the new, I try to plan out my year as well, so I guess I'm kind of a Zeitgeist and a planner, but you can definitely be a planner and just go through the year and go, right, this is the month that I'll be playing a JRPG, this is the month I'll be playing a shooter, this is the month I'll be playing a puzzle game, so that way you can break things up, and maybe you're the type of person who can only play 2 or 3 JRPGs a year, then you can go, right then, there's 2 JRPGs I'm really interested in. One of them comes out in June, one of them comes out in July. That's not really good for me, so I'll play the first one that comes out, which is the June one, and the July one, I'll save it until December, you know? So yeah, I know this is a weird video, and again, I'm not going to go through absolutely everything. I just wanted to at least bring it up to show people that there are definitely options these days. You can be your own kind of gamer, essentially. You also don't even need to essentially label yourself. No one really does. This is just something I wanted to come up with. It's like an idea I had, and I thought I'd play around with it. So yeah, I think I am done. And until next time, I'm going to say I truly do hope you have a great rest of your day. Okay, bye!